Hey everybody, welcome back to Q&A, Ask the Structural Chiropractor. Today we are going over question number 2. Why does my chiropractor recommend making return visits? Is it really all about the money? I am Dr. Zachary Ward. I'm a chiropractor here in Auburn Hills, Michigan. I practice something called upper cervical chiropractic procedures and structural chiropractic care. I'm going to give you my perspective. If you ask the internet why your chiropractor is recommending that you make return visits, you're going to run into the anonymous internet expert who will tell you that we are just about making money and trying to take your money. And that's all that we are about. The corollary argument to this is that, and it's oftentimes not mentioned, but this is kind of goes along with they're just about your money, is if it doesn't work in a few visits, it doesn't work at all. And so the anonymous internet experts will say, it'll be worth it for like 1 or 2 visits, maybe 3, maybe 4. But beyond that, they're just trying to take your money. If it doesn't work in that time frame, well, then it doesn't work at all. Who often isn't questioned about treatment frequency is something that we find very interesting, because physical therapists, MDs, DOs, other kind of providers are often not questioned about the care that they recommend and the frequency that it requires. So say, for example, you're going to work with a physical therapist. Oftentimes when they're doing their job, depending on the situation that you're in, them seeing you for 3 or 4 hours a week is normal. And for that to continue on for 3 or 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks is normal. But they're often not questioned about that frequency. And then certainly we've all had the experience or know somebody who had the experience of being put on, let's say, a pharmaceutical, and when we question our doctor about how long we need to be on it, there really isn't necessarily a plan for them to take us off that drug. In other words, many of us are put on a drug basically for our lifetime, and that is not something that we are told to question very often. And I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, it's just interesting from a cultural perspective. What a lot of people don't understand is that the average age of the first chiropractic visit for most people is in their 4th or their 5th decade of life. So by that time, multiple fender benders, 5 seasons of youth football, soccer, cheer, 40 hours a week or more, hunched in front of a computer for 25 years, plus all the screen time after that. That one time you rolled down the ski hill, the one time you flipped off the toboggan, that one time you fell off the fence post or the horse kicked you, the one time that you slid on the ice and whacked your tailbone so hard you could barely sit for a week. All of this stuff really does add up, and it has a cumulative effect on the framework of the body. So if the quote-unquote experts suggest that after 1 or 2 visits we're going to overcome all these shifts and created by that trauma and we're going to produce a miracle, that's not realistic. Sometimes it does happen. The body is amazing, and sometimes that pain, that irritation, that dysfunction will melt away. But if it doesn't after 1 or 2 visits, it doesn't mean that the chiropractor isn't doing something right for you. It just means that it's going to take some time. It may mean that the underlying shift or weakness that you're experiencing, even if the symptom goes away, is still there, and you will need some supportive care for weeks to months just to get some stability. And this is normal. This is to be expected. And if we look at it in the context of tissue healing times, so say, for example, skin, fascial muscle, tendon, ligament, and bone, the major components of the spinal column, they all have healing requirements. And these aren't rules that I made or some other chiropractor made or the surgeon made, or this doctor or that doctor made. These are literally the rules of physiology. And so if you look at the top bubble on the left, that says from 0 to 3 days, just in case you can't see it very well. Top bubble on the right goes all the way to a year plus. You could think of like a skin or a fascia injury, let's say a burn or something like that. That's going to take a long time to heal. You could have a muscle strain. That muscle strain could be feeling a lot better in 3 to 4 weeks, but sometimes that thing can carry on for several months. And of course, if it's a rupture, you're at least going to need 5 to 7 weeks. That's what that little white line means. Tendons, of course, same thing. You're dealing with a chronic inflammation on a tendon that connects a muscle to a bone. There are muscles that are connect into a bone in the spinal column as well. That can take several months to overcome that issue. But what I want to focus on is actually the ligament, because this is the overlooked area of the spinal column. We have 9 different ligaments that connect to almost every single area of our spinal column. What's a little bit different is up here at the top of the neck, but 9 different ligaments at every single level of the spinal column, not including the intervertebral disc. So anytime there's a tearing, fraying, pulling, repetitious, recurring strain to that ligamentous system, it's going to take some time for it to heal. And so, basically you go through the natural inflammatory phase for a ligament. It's going to be a few hours, but the rebuilding phase is going to take months. And some people are even going to remodel for years. And that's a component that people often don't think about when they think about spinal healing is, yeah, my ligaments are involved, and they're going to need to heal. Of course, people have heard about breaking bones, and they know that, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, a couple months is at least what's needed, depending on the severity of the break. Which leads me to the question, do these people need the same care? Because these anonymous internet experts that tell you that we're just about your money, they don't know anything really about you or what your spine looks like. And so I've got two people in front of you who are probably going to need some very different kind of care. The image on the left is a neck of a woman in her 50s who is a smoker, several packs a day for years. She's got a really traumatic, serious neurological facial pain. She's got a shift of her spine. She's got a reverse cervical curve. That curve that's in her neck should be curved the other way. Several of those segments are slipped forward. That's quite a bit different than the image on the right, which is a young man in his late 20s, early 30s, who's an avid runner. He's coming in with some issues that are, debilitating for him, of course, as well. It's stuff that he doesn't like going on in his life. However, you can tell that structurally, he's in a way better shape than the patient on the left. And to suggest that, both these people are going to respond in the same time frame with two very different presentations and very different needs is just silly and quite insane. And it wouldn't be demanded of any other practitioner except for, in fact, the chiropractor. Is the chiropractor after your money? No. The chiropractor, if the chiropractor is doing the proper job, is giving your body time to respond to the care that the chiropractor is providing. Hopefully to encourage the spine to shift, posture to shift in a positive direction, if you look at it from my perspective, and to give your body an opportunity for healing. If you have any question about this or any other presentation I have online, you can go ahead and reach out to me at laicchiro.com. Again, this is Dr. Zachary Ward at Life and Alignment Chiropractic in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.